We have been celebrating Mother's Day for a very, very long time, and it dates way back to the Roman history, but there have been several women in our country that really pushed it forward. Julia Ward Howe, back in 1870, really pushed for a Mother's Day, and it didn't really catch on, but she became famous in another way. She wrote the Battle Hymn of the Republic. But it was Anna Jarvis in 1914 that decided mothers should be honored, and then presidents along the way emphasized it, so it became a national day of commemoration. Okay, now looking back to your parents, what were their jobs, their main careers? Many of our mothers may have been housewives, but some of them were not, okay? What was your, Tom, suppose you start this time.
Oh, my mother was a housewife until we were growing up a little bit, and then she started some part-time work as a secretary. She really wanted to be a librarian all her life, and the closest thing she got was the medical records librarian scholarship. So.
Well, hey, that's, you know, part of it, but sometimes our dreams aren't quite fulfilled, are they? Right. Okay. How about you, Roy?
Well, my mother was a housewife almost all the time until, maybe I was in high school and that. Then she started to sell Stanley Home Products. That's an offshoot of the Fuller Brush, and she was selling that. And we didn't have a car. My dad never drove, so she had a friend that whose son would drive her there and pick her up and deliver the orders. And then my dad was a pile driver.
A what?
A pile driver. They're the ones that lay the foundations for all the bridges and steel mills. Oh, most of his work was in Indiana, building the docks for all the steel ships to come in there.
Whoa. And they're probably still standing now.
Yeah. Well, that's when they had the trouble. They were hitting a pile down in the Chicago River when it broke and went into the tunnel.
Right.
And and Chicago got flooded by a pile driver that went through the tunnel.
History.
Yeah.
Anna Mae?
My mother was a housewife. Like I said earlier, my dad died when I was 7. My brother was 6 weeks old. Then my mother remarried, and she had 10 more children. Oh. So she was always a housewife. And I guess she loved it. She did, the best she could with what she had.
Oh, I can well imagine. Yeah. But she had your help also.
Yeah, I was the oldest. And
you were a mother before your time.
Yes, I really and truly was. I was a mother before my time. But yet I'm very close. We're all close. My sisters and brothers, we're all very close.
Well, you've got your stars and your crown for heaven, so you're prepared.
Thank you.
Okay, Julia?
I think my mother was a housewife. She did so many things. She was a very good cook, so she might have helped people cook, but she sewed real well also, and I think that was an asset. Anybody wanted anything, they'd come and Mom could make it for them. Mm-hmm. And my dad was very talented. He was a jack of all trades, and so he could go from place to place. But I remember he was a molder, and they mold something. We have, they're made out of like steel or something, and you poured something in this mold, and then,
Like a die
Like
maker.
a die, that's right. So we have so many of these. Still have them.
But they were also farmers.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was from 40 years of farming.
Right, well, they brought that from the old country. Yeah. Well, what is your earliest memory of your parents? Now, that's digging way, way back. What's the earliest memory you can think of your parents that really stick in your mind? Anyone? Okay, Anna Mae?
Well, it was 1939, and my mother was in the hospital. She had just had my brother, my youngest brother, and Daddy was home with us. And I just remembered, I loved it because every morning he gave me money for sweet rolls, and I'd go buy sweet rolls, and I just wished my mother would always stay in the hospital.
Terrible.
But I mean, this is my memory.
Right,
And it was
right.
1939, and of course he died 6 weeks later, so it was,
So it's stuck in your mind.
yeah, it really stuck in my mind. But that was really
Right.
kind
And-
of odd.
Anyone else remember? Tom? Oh boy. And then you got a lot for a nickel. How about you,
Well,
Roy?
I remember my mother taking me down to downtown to Goldblatt's and and she'd go shopping and buy things. Then we'd go down in the basement, and they would. We used to get this chocolate. It's like not like a sundae, but that whipped chocolate, and I'd eat it so fast. My forehead would hurt, you know, whenever you eat something
you had
cold.
the whole- Like an ice cream.
And then she would take, they would go to a Walgreens, or was that, and I'd get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich because that's something we never had at home. Was
Now they have it all the time.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Now it's a staple of the family.
Yeah, that was the thing.
Right. Okay. Julia?
Well, I was the youngest of 5 girls, so I could say my older siblings were more or less like a parent substitute, and I don't remember too much about. They were always taking care of me, so I don't remember anything real outstanding.
Right, right. Well, how about, is there anything funny that ever happened in your home? Like I remember my father coming home with a monkey. And my mother said, either the monkey or you go. Anybody remember anything funny happening?
Well,
in
I
the-
remember my dad, my mother told him to go to this fish market that's down in Chicago, a few blocks from the house. And my dad was a fisherman. He fished in Norway and all over. And he went, and this was a lot of Norwegians went here and got their fish. So he went in there and looked at the fish, and the fish he wanted, he says, "No, I don't want that fish. It's old." They says, "No, it's fresh." He argued with the man and said it's real loud and says, "No, this is all spoiled fish. It's rotten." They threw him out.
Good thing you weren't there. You would have been embarrassed.
and the only other thing that was with them, it was with me and we were home at lunchtime, and I locked my brother in the bathroom.
Spanking.
Yeah.
We had a river that ran through our property, and my dad used to take us swimming, and he taught us how to swim. And of course, we always went after a big rainstorm, so the current, carried us a big distance. How dangerous it is. But
That was frightening.
we didn't know any better. We rode the current,
Well-
and I learned how to swim.
By force.
Yes.
Well, it says that the hand that rocks the cradle is the hand that rules the world, and I think we all can look back on that. And another one that is said is a mother understands what a child does not say, and I think we all can think of mothers with that situation. Okay, we'll be back in a few minutes after a short break.